If you're new here, I'm Tatiana Anissa. Nice to meet you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. So today's video is a video I haven't done in a while, or at all, but I want to share with y'all my favorite Colourpop palettes as of now. I love Colourpop. Colourpop is my absolute favorite makeup brand. You know, there's that drugstore, then there's the luxury brand, and then there's a middle brand. I don't necessarily know what that's called, but if you know what it's called, please leave that in the comments below, because I don't know what it's called, because people keep asking me, and I just really don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys all of my favorite current Colourpop palettes. So if you want to see that and what I recommend, then keep on watching. Okay, so the first palette I'm going to show you, if I had to choose this as number one, this is definitely what it would be. It's weird, I'm starting with number one, but go big or go home. So the first palette is the Hola Chola palette. This is the Colourpop X Becky G collaboration palette. I love this palette. When I bought it, I didn't think that I would actually love it as much as I do. This is an all matte palette. And at first when I heard that, I was like really all mattes? Like, I like shimmer, I love color, I need stuff on my eyes, like to make me feel like, you know, like snatched, you know? But this palette is definitely an everyday palette. This is the palette that I reach for when I don't have time to do a bright, vibrant look. I always reach for this palette. And this palette looks like this. It has a mirror in it, which is great. I don't want to blind y'all, but these are the shades in the palette. It's, like I said, it's literally a neutral palette, and I love it so much. This is what it looks like. I just love this palette so much. Unfortunately, I believe that Colourpop discontinued this palette, so you can no longer get it, which really sucks. But I really wanted to just tell y'all, like, don't be afraid of all matte palettes, because they are great. And especially for transition shades, this is my go-to palette when I need a quick transition shade out of here. Okay, so the next palette that I have, and now it's no particular order, is new-ish. It came out for like before Valentine's Day, so like this is what I use when I'm going out on the weekends, and it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. It is the All That palette. This is Colourpop's Valentine's Day collection palette, like I said, and it is just so sultry and just so great. So this is what the palette looks like. When you look at it, you're just like, it's a basic palette, but you have to see it in person to know, like, okay, wow, the plane is definitely, of course, it just chooses now to go by. Okay, but anyways, this palette has one of Colourpop's new formulas, and it's like very foiled, metallic. It's like really hard to explain, but it's different. It's like, look at this. Like, the lighting is just like, do y'all see that? It is so pretty. Like, I love this palette. This is definitely a date night palette, in my opinion. And the packaging, just look at the packaging. The packaging is so pretty. Oh, I love it. And there's a pressed glitter in here as well. A lot of people don't like pressed glitters, but I love them personally. But yeah. So the next palette is quite old. It is I think this came out last year during the springtime. It's the Sweet Talk palette. This was their spring collection. This has really, really light shades. This is for the people who are afraid of color, who just want to add just a little bit of color in their neutral look. And I think this palette is great, especially for springtime. So now I'm gonna start pulling this out even more, because it is transitioning into spring, and this is like the perfect palette for that. I love this palette so much. And the packaging is just, you guys, I like to buy things just for the packaging sometimes. So if you hear me talk about the packaging, it's because I really love the packaging of these palettes. The next palette is one of my absolute favorite palettes from Colourpop. It is literally the perfect palette for people of deeper skin tones, and That is the California Love Palette. Yes, I know what you're thinking. You're in California, you got a California Love Palette, blah, blah, blah. But I got this palette way before I came to California, and let me just say that this palette is for you if you love browns. Look at this, guys, look at this palette. I love this palette. This is a palette that I always go to. I wear a lot of browns. I love earth tone colors, mainly browns and like blacks, kind of. But like this is the colors that I always wear. And this is the palette that always complements the looks that I have. And I just think that this is such a great palette. It is so pretty, especially for summertime. But I pull from this all the time. All right, so moving on to the Colourpop 30 Pan palette. I have 3 more palettes left to show you all. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the palette that I think is just perfect for summer. Yes, you guessed it. I'm talking about the It's All Good palette from Colourpop. This palette right here is gorgeous. I don't pull from it enough. It is one of my favorite palettes from Colourpop. I keep saying that, like all of these are my favorite. Obviously, that's why I picked them all. This palette just has my favorite colors of eyeshadow. I love pinks and purples. Pinks and purples are the most complementary to my skin tone, and this palette has nothing but that. And I really want to pull from this more often. It's just like, my favorite shade in the palette is called Margarita. Wow, of course it's Margarita, because that's literally my favorite drink. It's Margarita, it's this hot pink. Okay, I did a crappy swatch. This is what it looks like. That is so vibrant and pretty and just so yummy. And then this color right here, it's called Paradiso. It's like this beautiful purple metallic. It's stunning. Look at that. It's so stunning. Oh! And of course, there's a pressed glitter, because who doesn't love glitters in here? But this palette is just great. Like, I love it. I love, love, love this palette. Okay, the next palette is the first wow, I cannot get my words together. The next palette is Colourpop's first 30 Pan palette, and I think that they really hit it on the mark with this palette. This palette is all inspired by jewel tones and jewels, and that is the So Jaded palette. This is Kathleen Light's ex Colourpop's collection and collaboration. And this is what it looks like. Every time I look at this palette, I just get so inspired to create a look. There's literally every color that you need in this palette. I never feel like overwhelmed. Like, you see all these different colors, but like there's so many different opportunities that you can create with this palette. And I just get so inspired when I see it. It's just gorgeous. And I want to show y'all the pressed glitter in this palette, because it is my absolute favorite pressed glitter ever of Colourpop's, and literally my favorite pressed glitter. Okay, so if the lighting wants to act up, okay, so this is the pressed glitter. It's like an icy, it's really hard to tell, but this is the pressed glitter right here. It's like an icy color. I love to just rub that all on my chest to complement any look that I have, if I'm going for a blue look or you know, something of that nature. But I just love this palette. And there's a Super Shock. I'm running out of fingers, clean fingers. I have nothing to clean my hands with. There is a Super Shock in here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Super Shocks, but it's kind of like this like buttery wet type of formula that Colourpop has. It's a really popular formula. Yeah, like what else can I say about it? Okay, and then the last palette is for all of my neutral lovers. I'm not a neutral girl. I didn't really think that I would like this palette. I wanted to get it because it was cute, it was pretty, and I did not own a single neutral palette. This is actually my only neutral palette that I own. Besides the first palette that I showed y'all, that's not necessarily like neutral. Like, it's like good for like, it's neutral, but like, wait till you see this one. This one's like very neutral. It's like for the neutral people, the people who are afraid of color. The Bare Necessities palette from Colourpop. This is, if you had to pick one palette from Colourpop and you're just starting out with makeup, I think this is the perfect palette for you to get. This palette right here is for the people who are just starting out, and it's really dirty. I use it quite a lot. This palette is very, very neutral. This is like unlike me neutral, but when I'm feeling like I want to go neutral and have a toned down look, if my outfit's kind of like psh, and like I just want my look to be kind of toned down and simple, I go for this palette. This palette is literally a very good neutral palette. I didn't own any, and I'm really glad that I brought this palette, because this palette, I don't know how many times I could say it's a really good neutral palette, but I definitely recommend this palette to everyone. I even got my roommate to buy this palette when Colourpop had a sale. I think because they reached 9 million followers. Both of my roommates bought palettes from Colourpop on my recommendation. And one of my roommates bought this palette because she is not really into color. She wants something subtle that she could just put on her eye and go out the door, something she can wear every day. And this was the palette that she chose, and she made a very good choice. So that is all of the palettes that are my current Colourpop faves. Hopefully they don't change much, but Colourpop is still releasing more collections. They have slowed down a little bit, which makes it less overwhelming, but these palettes are the ones that I always reach for. I don't reach for any other palettes. They're so affordable. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I love sitting down and talking to y'all and just sharing with y'all like some things that I love that I would recommend for you all. But yeah, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You guys are here, so just click that red button down below. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in my next video.